I didn't even stop to sniff it because John was a little tardy today. We're not going to go into it. But anyway, and
It's been a morning.
He had the key, so I've been standing outside in 85-degree weather for 2 hours, an hour and a half, an hour and 10 minutes, whatever it was. It seemed like a day and a half. Coming to you basically live from the 1885 Tap Room on Main Street in downtown Simpsonville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John and Five. That's where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, to pick a beer from one of their, how many taps?
30 taps.
30 taps.
Yeah.
And we sniff it, we sip it, we kibitz about it. John tells us a little bit about the brewery. Sometimes we get a little brewing history, and we drink some beer.
Yeah.
And with that, John, what are we doing?
We are starting with a Yazoo beer out of Nashville. And I think they're the first brewery in Nashville, and they're definitely the brewery that brewed like the first high gravity beer. And so they are pretty well known around beer circles for making really good beer. Started in 2005. So they're coming up on 20 years up there now, and still independently owned in a local bar. And
Nice.
It's a super cool spot. And I think this is a new beer from them. It was hard to tell exactly, but I don't remember there being a regular Yazoo Pale Ale in the past. But we haven't always gotten everything that Yazoo makes down here.
Right. In fact, I've never seen it down here.
Their description of the beer is it's a new version of an American classic.
But I mean, I've never seen Yazoo here before.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's.
I mean, I've been to the brewery.
I suppose it's still
Nashville.
pretty new to the market. I got introduced to them some time ago. Some friends brought me beer down from Nashville when I had Growler Station.
Yeah.
That long ago.
Wow.
Sue, in fact, which was that high gravity beer I referenced earlier, a big smoked porter that they do that's really fantastic. But Yazoo does a bunch of good quality, straight up styles, and then some fun things on the side, and some experimental things now and then. But they do a really good, solid, clean core lineup of beers. And this plugs right into that lineup. It's one of those classic American pales, like a Sierra Nevada style. It's got that big, firm, malty backbone to it. They use some English malts and some American malts together. They specifically mention that there's a big showcase for Amarillo here, which is a pretty new hop, but still creates those big citrusy, clean and piney, West Coasty flavors that pale ale should have. And this does. I got a crutch on this one because I've already had this one. In fact, we may struggle to find beers on this particular tap wall I haven't had, because I currently work in this bar a couple days a week. So
Yes. John pulls beers in this bar, and has been now for what, about a year and a half? Couple of years.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that you worked it out so we could do this here today.
Yeah,
This
this set fell into our laps here in an open day, and our open day coincided, and the owner here was kind enough to let us come and shoot on a day when the business isn't open. So we got plenty of time plenty of time to do this and not have to rush out at the end. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Let's get to it, Russ.
what's the ABV? Did you say?
5.8. I did not
5.8.
say, which is it's I guess technically on the high end. I think pale ale is supposed to top out at like 6.2. So, but it can be down in the 4.5% range too. So this is supposed to be a sessionable kind of a beer. Although when you're pushing 6, it's still going to get your attention.
Yeah. Let's give it a go.
Yeah. Here it is.
Text Miss Lily.
I just love the nose on that. I love the nose on a good pale ale.
I didn't even stop to sniff it because John was a little tardy today. We're not going to go into it. But anyway, and
It's been a morning.
he had the key, so I've been standing outside in 85-degree weather for 2 hours, an hour and a half, an hour and 10 minutes, whatever it was. It seemed like a day and a half. I felt like Papillon when I was, down in the box. So I didn't even stop to sniff it. I was just
Just had to get right in. This is such a classic, and this kind of beer is what drew so many people into craft from macro beer, because in the 80s, when these things really started coming onto the market at all, and we point back to basically to Sierra Pale Ale as the progenitor of this style. I mean, they were out hawking this thing out of the back of a pickup truck around San Diego.
Yeah.
And literally.
Yeah.
And people were going, this is impossible. I can't drink this. What is this thing? I don't get it. And then people who did started to kind of evangelize for it, and it took off and became a literal worldwide phenomenon. But I mean, this beer is so different from what macro American beer ever was, and it's superb. I mean, there are big flavors here, don't get me wrong, but there's flavor here. There's good to be had here.
Yeah.
It's not just, there's something to be said for sitting out in the sun and knocking back a beer, and I got no problems. I got nothing evil to say about any beer. Maybe one, but we won't get into that today either. But even that's me just being a curmudgeon, probably,
Yeah.
more than it is anything else. But the way this speaks to people, you will find a beer, if you give yourself a chance, that will speak to you. Because there's so many different unique flavors in these beers. And this just happens to be one that we point back to in history as helping kickstart the American craft beer revolution. And I'm really proud of you, Russ. You're just knocking this thing right back. This is not normally Russ's kind of beer.
I'm very parched. Some nice lacing on it,
Yeah.
if you can see that. Well, do we have anything else we need to talk
I
about?
don't know. Well, you got anything else you want to say about Nashville?
Well, I'm going back in 2 weeks, so I will.
More to report then.
Yeah, I may stop in and see them, although I'm with a different bunch of people than I usually go brewery hopping with.
Yeah.
But maybe we will. It's downtown.
Yeah, they just moved into, I say just, but I think it was 2018 or something. They moved into a big facility right in downtown.
Yeah.
And I've not been to that one, and it's by all accounts just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice big space, and I like this. And I am getting the bread and the malt.
Yeah. It's all that's the backbone. And it does everything that it does really well. There's a citrusy front end, grapefruity, that lingers with you. There's a piney, resiny kind of a bite to it. But there's that big, firm malt backbone that holds everything together, creates the sweetness that creates the balance. And that's what good beer is about, is balanced beer.
This is a good one.
Yep.
I like this.
Agreed. Very solid. Let's let these people go.
Let's.
Kaboom.
So damn lucky. See you next time.